Hello everyone. In this video, we will cover the topic of load balancing. So we will start with internal load balancing first. So let's start by creating our resource group. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna create 3 virtual machine in a resource group, and we also gonna create VNet, and then we also gonna try to test all of them. Okay, let's begin by creating our resource group. And we're going to create this one in East US. Resource group East US. We will also create availability set for that. So let's start by creating a resource group. Virtual network is our second resource in East US. I'm going to call it VNet hyphen internal hyphen load balancer hyphen East US. Okay, that's been getting created. You're gonna leave the default gateway subnet as it is. So we'll wait for it to get created. Okay, so that's created. Now let's create our network security group. And I'm gonna call it network security group hyphen East US. Okay, we'll wait for it to get created. Perfect, that's done. And now let's create an inbound rule which will allow all the traffic. Allow, and then okay, now let's associate it to our virtual network and then subnet, which was default. We haven't changed the name, so we'll keep as it is. Okay, perfect. That's done. Now let's create our availability set first, because we need to launch. We can create it here, or we can go and create when we are creating the machine, but let's create it here. It's gonna be easy. So our resource group is East US, and I'm gonna call it availability set hyphen load balancer hyphen East US. We will leave the settings like fault tolerance 2 and update domain 5, and let's create. It's gonna give it a second to get created. Okay, that's done. Now let's start create our virtual machine. So as we said, we will create 3 virtual machines here. So I'm gonna call first one VM1. Let's make it caps, and load balancer and East US. Okay, let's think which one we gonna create, and I think let's go for mm, let's select our availability set first. Just wondering. Okay, let's do this. Let's create 3 virtual machines in Ubuntu. Okay, I need to make sure we're gonna have 3 machines. I need to use the minimum uh, size, else we will run out of it because we're using the free version. So desktop username and then the password. East VM1 LB East US, and availability set is fine, and Ubuntu 1.1 that is fine, and let's retype our password. Okay, perfect. We will not use any inbound because we have set up on the network security group. The settings fine, default setting. Make sure it picks up our right VNet, which is fine. Management, just gonna say disable. Don't want any monitoring here. And let's create and launch. Okay, let's wait for the validation to get passed. Perfect. So that's gonna get created. While it's creating it, let's start our putty. And let's make some changes to the putty so it's easily visible. Else it's gonna be very small fonts there. Let me make it bold, and let's change the color scheme as well. You can go on color. I'm pretty sure you know how to use putty. If not, just there is a tutorial. I think I've done few videos where I have shown you can download putty and then install it. It's very straightforward. And let's wait for the IP address. Okay, perfect. That's done. We're just gonna launch it, then leave it for now. Then we're gonna move it over to our second virtual machine. Desktop at the rate, and then it will ask for password. Let me remember. Oh yeah. Okay, now let's install our Apache server here. Update. Ah, okay, that's updated. Now our Apache server update. Install Apache 2. Let me say yes. So it will go to install it. Okay, that's done. Now let's make the change to our Apache server so we will know which VM load balancer we'll use. So let's do cd /var/ www.tml and now let's do vim index. Okay, there is a file in here. Let me do ls so you will know. Yep, and it's called, let's use vim index to open this. And if you go to line 198, okay, let me show you what I'm trying to do here. So if I open this web page, it should be up and running now. I just want to change this default page to, like, say VM1, so we will know which VM is being used by the load balancer. So let's me go back to our putty. So it's line number 198. I'm sure. Let's have a quick look. I just missed it. Yep. So Apache Ubuntu page 198. So I will press I for insert, space, and hyphen VM1. So we will know this is VM1, and then escape, colon, write, and quit. Perfect. We are back. Now if I do refresh, you will see it says VM1. Okay. Now we know this is our VM1. And now let's launch our second VM. Create. and we gonna use the same virtual machine naming convention. I'm gonna call it 2-load balancer hyphen East US. And this one we're gonna use the availability set, same availability set, same type of machine, Ubuntu, and let's use desktop. And same. Okay, and none. As I mentioned, we're gonna use the network security group to allow and block the ports. Next. Yep, these settings should be default. Next, and then make sure that you're using the right virtual network. Management just disable this, and that's pretty much it. And let's wait for it to launch. Sorry, I mean create. So and hit create. And let's use our oh, did I create? Yeah, it's getting deployed. Let's use our second putty session. Wait for this one. Let's change this color. Same 14 bold, and use the color scheme here to default foreground color to, let's see, use this one, and let's wait for the IP address to create. Okay, wait for it to get deployed. Perfect, so that's done. Now let's grab our public IP address, and let's go here and stop at the rate control E. Sorry, my mouse just flips. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing. Let's sudo -i and let's install the updates for this Apache server. Sorry, for this Linux, and then we will install Apache on top of that. Perfect, that's done. Now install Apache 2. Sorry, it's not 3 yet. Yes. So yes, will not ask us to press yes. It will take the answer as yes automatically. Okay, that's done. So now let's do the same one. Let's launch this one and see what's the default page shows up. It says default page, and now we're gonna make the same change which we make for our other Ubuntu. So what we need to do is to do cd, sorry, not in this one, and cd, and let's go to var folder, and then it's www, and then html ls, yep, cd vim index. Gonna use vim browser and line 198. And let's change this one to I for insert space hyphen vm2 escape to come out colon, and then write and quit. That will save it. Perfect, that's done. And if I do refresh, we hopefully see VM2. Okay, so our both the VMs are ready, which are running the server. Now we need to launch a third VM because we're going to use the internal load balance in this demo. So let's launch another VM. Okay, this VM I'm keen to launch Windows machine, and we're gonna RDP into it. So we want to like try different things. So I'm gonna call it VM3. VM3. We don't have to. Let's see VM test and VM-test. That should do, because we're gonna be testing from this machine, and I'm gonna, like I said, I will use. Oops, oh, Windows here. I thought to remove Windows. Windows are there, and then wait for it this to populate. And let's put it into the scale set as well, just in case. We don't have to, but I will show you this thing as well when we're gonna do load balancer, that we can able to see it. See, this is very cheap, like £7 a month. We don't need any fast machine. We're not running any server on this one, so we're just gonna use it as a web browser. But we have to make sure this machine is into the same VNet. Okay, looks all good. Next, next. Yep, internal load balancer is our virtual network. That's perfect. And I don't think so we have to do anything apart from disabling this one. And let's wait for this one to launch. After this internal load balancer, we will cover public load balancer as well. So okay, we're just waiting for it to create. Should not take too long. Okay, deployment is still in progress, so just wait for it. Okay, sorry, that's all done. Now let's use RDP. So just had a cough. So desktop, and then we're gonna call this one. Okay, so let's wait for it to log in. So I'm sure you understood what we are trying to do. So there are two machines which are running web servers. Since this is internal machine, so we need to go through our internal machine using VNet. So that's why we created another machine. And then now we're gonna test our load balancer. So let's start by creating an internal load balancer. So we're gonna go and search for load balancer. You can do it from here. It's on my list already. So, and then I'm gonna hit create. We need to give it a resource group, which is gonna be the same resource group where our machines are, and then name internal. You can name it anything. So I'm gonna call it load balancer hyphen internal hyphen east US. It's easy to remember, and since it is internal, we use internal, and I will use basic here. And then virtual network is the virtual network which is in this uh, resource group, and I'm going to use dynamic, and let's go and create. Okay, it's getting created now. Let's wait for our machine to come up as well. It's going to be a bit slow, but as like I said, it's just going to be browser which we are after. This is still launching up, so you're going to wait. Okay, perfect. So our load balancer has uh, created now. Now we need to configure. It should have given us IP address for that. That is fine. Now backend pool. So we need to configure backend pool, help probes, and load balancing rules. Without these four, our load balance is not complete. So this one got created automatically when we create load balancer. Let's go and create our backend pool. So let's create new, and I'm gonna call it pool one. Sorry, pool one, and then associate with our virtual machine and click add. Now you can see that's what I was talking about earlier, that we can see all the machine in the resource group, but we are interested in only these two. And let's create, okay, and add now. So these two machines gonna come under the pool. While it's doing this, let's quickly close. We're not interested in this. The only thing I need to change is this to off. Okay, so our this machine is ready while this is getting prepared. Cool. Okay, so that's created these two pools for those two machines. And now let's create help probe. So what help probe will do, it will keep checking on those two machines if they are available or not. So we're gonna call it help probe load balancer. It will check on TCP port number 80 after every 5 seconds. It will check if they are available. It will for two conservative interval after two pings, which is 5 seconds each. If it doesn't find the machine is available, it will mark it as down. So let's add this one. Okay, that's created. Now let's the final piece. We need to create our rules. So we're gonna call it load balancer hyphen internal hyphen rule one. IP4 we're gonna use front end IP address is our load balancer front end address. TCP is a protocol which we're gonna select. AT is our port. Backend port is AT as well. And backend pool which we configure pool one. Help probe we have configure help probe, load balancer, and persistence we don't need this one because if we selected it will not help us to test our demo because it will keep the session persistent live even if it's disabled. And let's click add now. Okay, so that seems to be created, and we are ready to test our load balancer now. So how are we going to test it? If I go to our front end IP address, so this is the IP address which is configured in front of those two machines, which are these ones. So let's go to our internal machine, which is this one, and let's try to access it now. This is here we go. So it's approaching to our VM1, and let's wait for some time and rerun this one or refresh this one. We should pick up our VM2 as well. Just gonna give it another few seconds. Say it can take up to 10 seconds, but it depends. So let's wait. Okay, still taking this time. Our both machines up. Still showing VM1. So let's do another refresh. Okay, gonna give it some more time. Let me pause because it can take some more time. Just gonna pause it for a minute, and when it shows second, I will come back. Yep, it came back straight away. Since I paused, I refreshed and it came back straight away. So you can see it's pointing to VM2. So perfect. So this is what we are trying to do. So we have covered our internal load balancer topic. And if you follow those instructions, which I've tried to show you on the video, you should be able to do it as well. And I think that's it for this video and demo, and I will see you in another video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.